At 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin tonight with the latest out of Israel as the country continues its counterattack against Hamas. Thanks for joining us for the news at 10 on CW20. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Overnight strikes in Gaza in response to Hamas's surprise attacks over the weekend. Buildings have been reduced to rubble and hundreds are dead. Hospitals are at capacity and left in the dark with electricity cut off.
Today, the Israeli military says they have a stronghold on one village that was attacked by militants on Saturday. Scores of residents in Kfar Aza were killed or taken hostage, and now officials begin the difficult job of identifying the bodies of the dead. They say they've seen absolute horrors in the days since the attack.
It's not a battlefield. It's a massacre. It's a terror activity.
Israeli officials currently estimate that 1,200 of their citizens have been killed. The Gaza Health Ministry says at least 765 Palestinians have been killed. They say primarily by airstrikes.
And flags are being flown at half-staff here in Connecticut as shows support for the people of Israel. And as the violence continues, so do rallies condemning the violence brought against innocent civilians. And
one was held at the state capitol today, where hundreds of people gathered to show their solidarity for the Palestinian people. And that's where we find Fox 61's Gabby Molina tonight with more on their message. Gabby?
Brent and Sarah, a very large rally formed outside of the state capitol earlier today. And there were some heated moments between those here showing their support for the Palestinian people and those showing their support for Israel.
Free, free Palestine! Occupation is a crime! Occupation is a crime!
Hundreds of people showing their support for the Palestinian people, gathering outside of the state capitol.
We want to let this state know that we demand to be heard as well.
In the wake of Hamas's attack on Israel, people spoke out against the violence towards civilians.
Hamas is a militant group. They're doing their things on their own. They make their own decisions. But who pays the price? Our people and the civilians from both sides.
We don't support any groups on any sides of any sorts of terrorism. We actually condemn that.
But also spoke out about the decades-long conflict that has also led to violence against Palestinians.
We are here because we have suffered through 75 years of occupation, genocide, land theft, war crimes at the hands of the Israeli government, and we are not going to stand in silence as we see our Palestinian brothers and sisters continuously murdered every single day.
Tensions rising at one point as people in support of Israel made their way towards Tuesday's rally. Police on scene diffusing the situation quickly, as organizers of the rally called for people to not engage and focus instead on their message of Palestinian liberation.
It's time for the world to know that the Palestinians deserve an independent state.
As Connecticut's elected leaders pledge their support for Israel, those at the rally are calling for support of Palestinians as well.
Give Palestinians support, aid, funding, provide them shelter, give them access to basic human resources.
Today's rally was led and organized by student groups from here in Connecticut. Live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Gabby, thank you. The nation of Israel is no stranger to missiles fired by Hamas, and as the barrage continues, so does that nation's defense system. Yeah, that sound you just heard was an automated rocket fired by its Iron Dome air defense system. Earlier today, it intercepted a missile fired by Hamas in the direction of the city of Tel Aviv. The Iron Dome works by radar. It calculates where a missile will land, and if that's over a population center, it will attempt to stop it. Part of what made Saturday's attack so deadly was the scale. The system can only intercept so many rockets before having to reload, and that means the constant barrage being launched by Hamas overwhelmed Israeli soldiers working to keep Iron Dome operational.
As far as response from the White House, President Biden promised Israel the U.S. will help replenish missiles for the Iron Dome. It's just one of many promises he made during an address to the nation this afternoon. He's declaring solidarity in the fight against Hamas. Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolforst is in studio with more from the president.
On this fourth day of fighting, President Biden delivering a clear message this afternoon. The United States stands with Israel.
This is terrorism.
Addressing the country for the second time since Saturday's surprise attack by Hamas, Biden denouncing what he calls atrocities.
This was an act of sheer evil.
Biden confirming American citizens are among those being held hostage by Hamas, and at least 14 have been killed so far, with 20 more people unaccounted for in Israel.
We must be crystal clear. We stand with Israel.
Biden reiterating a message of solidarity with Israel Tuesday, pledging to provide continued military aid to the country.
When Congress returns, we're going to ask them to take urgent action to fund the national security requirements of our critical partners.
But as Congress deals with a looming government shutdown deadline and still no House Speaker, concerns as to how quickly Israeli aid could really be passed.
This is not about party or politics. This is about the security of our world.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, who serves on the Senate Armed Services Committee, also pushing for more aid, hoping to spur House Republicans.
An additional funding package will be front and center as we go back, and I anticipate it will be bipartisan. Support for Israel must be bipartisan.
House Republicans could have a vote on who to nominate for Speaker as soon as Wednesday. And today, Governor Ned Lamont directing flags lowered to half staff in recognition and mourning of the lives lost in Israel. Flags will remain lowered through sunset Saturday. In the studio, Emma Wolforst, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Emma, thank you. And back home tonight, we are following breaking news out of Windsor, where we have just learned that a high school student has died. Details remain limited at this hour, but the school says that student was a member of the football team. The school has extended its condolences to the family in this tragedy. We are working to learn more details about exactly what happened, and will provide any updates as soon as they become available to us. Sad story there. All right, moving forward then, taking a second to check back on the weather here at home as well.
Yeah, let's send it over to Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for the latest. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, our classic October weather continues right through the end of the work week. It has been really beautiful, and I think it will be even brighter and warmer, just by a few degrees over the next couple of days. Right now, we're close to 50 degrees. We're looking at another cool night ahead. We don't have to worry about any showers. There is a disturbance nearby, and that will cause a few clouds out there to start off the day tomorrow, but I think we actually break for sunshine, and it is a nice bright midday and afternoon. We're looking at overnight lows that'll dip back into the low to mid 40s inland, near 50 for the Connecticut shoreline, and any early clouds break for that sun. It is an October beauty and another chilly night. We're looking at high temperatures climbing between 65 to right around 70 degrees as we head through the afternoon. We have another day just like this on Thursday, and we might see a few more additional clouds on Friday before some rain returns this weekend, but some of the trends are favorable. It may not be a weekend washout. Yay, I guess. We're still going to see some rain, though. We'll explain your full forecast coming up.
Rachel, thank you. A message of unity and hope. That's the purpose of an interfaith dinner hosted by the Connecticut Council for Interreligious Understanding called Love Thy Neighbor. The dinner happening tonight at Congregation Beth Israel in West Hartford, and that's where we find Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner tonight. So DeAndrea, the group has been planning this dinner well before Saturday's attack, right?
Brent, that's right. They've actually been planning this for a couple of years now, because the last Love Thy Neighbor dinner they had was in 2019 before the pandemic happened. Now they say while they've been planning it, really getting it into fruition in the last couple of months, this dinner was so timely tonight because of those attacks. It's a dinner that shares more than food.
Understanding other religions, knowing that they're there, knowing that it's important to be educated about religions, cuts down on a lot of prejudice.
At the Connecticut Council for Interreligious Understanding Love Thy Neighbor dinner, people from various religious backgrounds came together to break bread and get a better understanding of different religions.
What we have learned so far, that the message of love is the core center of every religion and every faith we have encountered with.
This was the first dinner since 2019. The timing comes as fighting continues between militant group Hamas and Israel forces.
We, even as people of faith, people from different faiths, and traditions account for such a tragedy.
As many people in this dinner felt the tragedy close to home, they also say they feel the love and support of their neighbors.
Again, to be here in a room like this where you see people coming together and building meaningful relationships with each other means that even when times are hard and when things outside in the larger world are happening that scare us all, and that should because they're terrifying, we have a solid foundation to build upon, whether we're celebrating together or coming together to pray or mourn.
And many people showed up at this dinner tonight. There were 9 different religions that were also represented at this dinner as well. In West Hartford, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
DeAndrea, thank you. We are closely following all developments from Israel as the conflict continues. To make sure you don't miss an update, scan the QR code here on your screen for a link to download the free Fox 61 app.